It's the best time of the year for NBA fans. Happy playoffs, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of Day-to-Day NBA Talk, where we cover the news from around the NBA, and of course, the only news today and the only thing we're doing today is predicting the postseason. I'm going to go from the most boring matchup to the most exciting matchup. The more boring matchups I'm going to go through relatively quickly, because we've got some damn good matchups to talk about here. So the Rockets and the Timberwolves, I don't think the Timberwolves stand much of a chance here. I give them 1 game or maybe 2 games. Congrats to the Timberwolves for finally making the playoffs for the first time since 2004. Maybe I think they'd have the firepower to compete with the Rockets if Andrew Wiggins progressed a little more this season, but he didn't. Also, Minnesota's got the worst bench in the league. Rockets in 5 at the very, very most 6. The Cavs and the Pacers, the reason I put this one at the beginning is because I think the Cavs are going to win this easily. Most people expected Indiana to be like a 10th or 11th seed, so a great season for the Pacers. I just think they're going to learn quickly that you need more than one star to take down LeBron James. When you can plan to shut down Oladipo on a night-to-night basis and make adjustments, I think that's going to cause a lot of problems for Victor. The Cavs win this series in 4 or 5. This Bucks-Celtics matchup is pretty difficult for me to decide because on one hand, you got a Celtics team without Daniel Tice, a big role player for them, without Kyrie and Hayward, their 2 main guys, and Marcus Smart is their best perimeter defender. He's been out with a thumb injury for a while and isn't expected to return until April 27th, so that's another huge loss. But then on the other hand, you got a Milwaukee team who's been very underwhelming this entire season, hasn't lived up to expectations. After they showed a ton of promise in that series against the Raptors, obviously they didn't win, but after that series, people thought the Bucks had one of the brightest futures in the Eastern Conference, and were looking like they were going to be a force to be reckoned with. But this season's obviously been a lot worse. They've just been average across the board. A solid defensive team, a solid offensive team. I mean, they're better offensively. They rank 7th in offensive rating, so there's one good stat. But then there's a bunch of negative stats for the Bucks. 27th in three-pointers made, 20th in plus-minus, 17th in defensive rating, and 28th in bench scoring. Give me the Celtics in 7. Bucks only get 3 games because of the Celtics injuries. So that series I have going to 7. Here's another series I have going to 7. Blazers and the Pelicans. I think this one's really even because the Blazers, with their shooting ability, even though they've struggled down the stretch here, their defense has gotten a lot better. Last year, they were 21st in defensive rating. This year, they're 8th. The Blazers' wing depth in this series should favor them. Guys like Harkless, Turner, and Al-Farouq Aminu should be able to do their thing offensively and defensively. Aminu and Harkless are defensive specialists. So in that matchup, the Pelicans are going to be in trouble. But the Blazers are going to be in trouble trying to slow down Anthony Davis. And the combination of the inside-out game of Nikola Mirotic and Anthony Davis, which has been very, very impressive for them late in this season. So that's how they're going to get 3 wins against the Blazers, but I just think Dame and CJ, they're built for this. They got enough around them to take down this Pelicans team. As much as I like the makeup of this Pelicans roster, it'd be really nice to see Boogie in this series, because then the Blazers would really have no answer. But Blazers in 7. And now to my 3 most intriguing series. Of course, we're doing the Raps and Wizards tomorrow on episode 3 of the wrap-up. But Thunder Jazz, Sixers Heat, and Spurs Warriors are the matchups that I think I'm going to enjoy the most. Starting with OKC and Utah, and in my video about the Jazz, I said that if they were to run into the Thunder, OKC's star power would be a little too much for the Jazz to handle. But now that this is actually a series, I've dug a little deeper and realized that the Jazz may be a matchup nightmare for the Thunder, and I still believe Golden State would have been the perfect matchup for OKC, because against Golden State, you got to try and match their firepower and then overcome it. I think Russ would have been coming for KD's head, and just the Thunder would have been a lot more motivated. That's been the theme all year for the Thunder, a lack of motivation against teams they're supposed to beat. This Utah team's a team they're supposed to take care of in the first round, especially with the expectations coming into the season. And now the fact that they got home court on the last day of the season, they're expected to take care of business fully against a young Jazz team. So guess what? I think the theme of a lack of motivation continues for this Thunder team. Their bench is going to have to be really good against this Utah team, because that starting 5 for Utah is insanely good defensively. And guess what? The Thunder's bench really struggles. I think this surprising young Utah team shocks the world when everybody expects the Thunder to take care of business. Feel free to oppose me in the comment section below, but Jazz in 6. First of all, shout out to my guy Funky Diabetic for making a Heat will upset the Sixers video, but I gotta disagree with you. I think the Sixers are ready, and most specifically Brett Brown is gonna be a great asset for these guys. Once Joel gets healthy, first of all, they're gonna be off the charts. They'd won 15 straight without him, pretty much. Simmons seems like a really mentally strong player. I think he's gonna fare well in the postseason. Sixers have got the shooting, inside presence, shot creation with Ben Simmons setting up guys. I mean, the sag off of Ben Simmons, that's my one concern. So I give the Heat like 2 games. I'll give them 2 games. Eric Spoelstra is pretty damn good as well, to be fair. Heat do play good team basketball, but it's not going to be enough against the Sixers. Best hope is if Hassan Whiteside goes off in Game 1 without Joel Embiid and then wins the matchup against Joel Embiid. That's going to be tough. Dragic has also been a pretty big concern for me. His injuries are mostly the concern, but I've just seen some games this season where he's disappeared, especially late in the season. And lastly, the defending champs, the Golden State Warriors. It's been a season, well, full of injuries, but also it's just been a very odd season, not typical of a championship team who kept all their players. There was that moment when Steve Kerr decided to let the team coach itself. The regular season has been tough for them just because they have all the expectations in the world. They have 3 superstars, maybe even 4 superstars on their roster, so everybody just expects them to make the finals again. Everybody expects them to win the finals again. If not, it's a huge disappointment, so the regular season's like nothing. That's, I think, one of the reasons why they didn't get that 1 seed, also because of the injuries. Speaking of injuries, the team they're going up against, Kawhi Leonard, what a weird situation that has been the entire season. I'm just going to flat out tell you my opinion on this. Kawhi Leonard, I don't know why he's not playing. It's the best organization in sports. Go play. You got paid. Go play. I mean, there's really not too much more to say about that, and it's not like you just got paid a little bit. You got paid probably one of the highest salaries in the league. But the Spurs got to live on without him, and LaMarcus Aldridge has been really damn good. Look, this really sucks for the Spurs that they ran into the Warriors. Any other team in the West, I think they'd have a chance against. Even the Houston Rockets had a game where they demolished Houston at the end of the season. So can Golden State flip the switch? Absolutely. With 2 superstars, with 3 superstars, whether Curry's in the lineup or not is what I'm trying to say. They're going to be just fine because Kevin Durant's the 2nd best player in the world. People have been talking about, Steph makes that team go. Do not underestimate Kevin Durant and what he's going to do come the postseason. Every postseason, he raises his game. He knows what to do. I'm not worried about KD. So they'll find a way to stop Aldridge if they have to double him. They have to do something. There's no other dominant scorer on that Spurs team. So no, Golden State isn't at their sharpest right now, but it'll be enough to get past the Spurs. Again, these are all just my takes, not facts. I just have an opinion on the game. Don't get too worked up about it in the comment section below, but having said that, if you disagree with me, leave me an intelligent-ass comment, and by all means, feel free to show me up. But if you agree with me, that's great too, and thank you so much for watching regardless of your opinion. If you've made it this far, hashtag which team you think is going to win the NBA Finals down in the comments section below. Should be a damn fun postseason. This first round's going to be great. I can already feel it. It's in 2 days, but I can't wait personally. I appreciate all 303 of you and have an amazing day.